The luxurious living room bustled with chatter and laughter. Jian, Jungkook's relatives lounged comfortably on the plush velvet couches, the scent of jasmine tea and butter cookies filling the air. It was a gathering of the elite Jungkook's uncles, aunts, cousins, people of wealth and stature, all under the watchful eye of Madame Jian, Jungkook's stepmother. Dressed in a regal burgundy hanbok, Madame Jian exuded grace and control. Her every word held weight, her every look silenced the room. A woman known for her poised smile and razor-sharp tongue. Madame Jian, we have finally gathered after Jungkook's marriage. It took him long enough, didn't it? Aunt Minhee chuckling softly. I just wanted to see Jungkook's wife. Heard she's stunning. Is it true? Madame Jian smirking, sipping her tea. She is beautiful, but dumb. Pretty things are often empty inside. Her voice was sweet, but her eyes gleamed with scorn. Some of the relatives laughed softly, more out of obligation than amusement. Uncle Dejin raising a brow. That's a harsh thing to say about your daughter-in-law, Madame Jian. She's not my daughter-in-law, just someone I was forced to take in. Poor quiet little thing, hardly speaks. Doesn't even know how to serve tea without spilling it. But what can we expect? She came from nothing. There was a pause before Madame Jian gracefully clapped her hands once, commanding the attention of the household staff. Madame Jian to the maid, go call her. Let her come greet the family properly. I don't raise idle women in this house. The maid hesitated for a moment before nodding and rushing upstairs. Cousin Yeren, she must be nervous. Meeting all of us at once? Madame Jian with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She should be. I expect her to kneel and greet every elder here properly. She needs to learn her place if she's going to carry the Jian name. Laughter rippled again through the guests, though a few exchanged uneasy glances. The room quieted when footsteps were heard from the staircase. Yin, dressed in a simple cream-colored hanbok, descended slowly. Her hands were clasped in front of her, her eyes lowered. Her soft features and shy demeanor painted her as fragile, like a porcelain doll amongst wolves. Madame Jian loudly, voice like silk. There she is, my dear daughter-in-law. Come, child, don't just stand there. Kneel. Yin softly. Why yes, mother. She slowly lowered herself to her knees on the cold marble floor in front of the guests. Madame Jian smiling with false sweetness. Now, greet everyone properly. One by one. Yin bowing her head. Ji, good evening, everyone. It's an honor to meet you. Her voice was barely above a whisper, trembling from the weight of humiliation. The room watched in silence, some with pity, others with amusement. Madame Jian simply sipped her tea again, satisfied with the performance, but unknown to all, at that very moment, Jungkook's car had just entered the main gate. The grand wooden doors creaked open. The laughter and casual chatter in the living room died in an instant. Heavy footsteps echoed against the marble as Jungkook stepped inside, his towering figure wrapped in a sleek black coat, the collar dusted with the night's chill. The aura of power and danger followed him like a shadow. Cold eyes, jaw clenched, and his presence so overwhelming that even Madame Jian stiffened in her seat. His gaze scanned the room, and then it landed on her, Yin, his wife, kneeling, head bowed, in front of people who weren't worthy of her smallest glance. The room fell dead silent as Jungkook strode in, the sound of his footsteps growing louder. His eyes never left Yin, not for a second. Without a word, he reached her. Jungkook calmly, but voice like thunder, who told you to kneel? Yin flinched at his tone but didn't respond. She didn't dare. She was too used to being silenced. Jungkook didn't wait for her answer. With one smooth motion, he bent down and gently took her arm. Jungkook, stand up. His voice was softer now. Only she could hear the gentleness layered beneath the authority. Yin blinked up at him, hesitant. Jungkook firmly, I said stand up, babe. She obeyed. Slowly, his hand didn't leave her arm as he guided her up. Without another glance at the crowd, Jungkook turned and led her to the large seat at the center. His seat. He sat down and pulled her down beside him. Not near, beside him. One hand wrapped around her waist, protective and possessive, pulling her close. He didn't look at the relatives, not yet. His attention was still on Yin as he leaned close, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Jungkook quietly, just for her. Did they make you kneel? Yin bit her lip, her lashes fluttering. She gave the faintest nod. A cold laugh left Jungkook's mouth as he finally turned to the rest of the room. Jungkook mockingly, so my so-called family made my wife kneel? What an interesting tradition we're following now. Aunt Minhee awkwardly, Jungkook, we were just Jungkook cutting her off, tone sharp. You were just humiliating my wife. Is that what you were going to say? Uncle Dejin, it's just respect, she's younger and new to the family. Jungkook, she's my wife, which makes her the queen of this household. And if anyone here thinks they're above her, you are free to leave right now. Silence. Tension gripped the air. Madame Jeon forcing a smile. Jungkook, don't make a scene. In front of the elders, she should know how to show manners. Jungkook snapping. Manners? You want to talk about manners? When you're making my wife kneel like a servant in her own home, you may have forced this marriage. But let me make one thing very clear. He pulled Yin even closer, his hand rubbing soothing circles on her waist. Jungkook, this woman right here is mine, and the next time anyone tries to disrespect her, I won't care if you share my blood. His words were sharp as blades. The guests shifted uncomfortably, some lowering their gazes. Jungkook with a sarcastic smirk. So, shall we continue the little tea party? Or is everyone suddenly too thirsty to speak? The room remained silent. Jungkook's eyes scanned each relative, daring anyone to speak, to challenge what he had said. No one did. Even Madame Jeon, who was always quick, with her sharp tongue set stiffly, lips pressed in a firm line. Jungkook low and cold. Good. He stood up, gently guiding Yin to her feet beside him with his arm around her waist. His grip on her was protective, possessive, clear. With one final glance toward the room full of muted guests, he spoke once more. Jungkook, this gathering is over. You can all leave now. Madame Jeon stood up and forced a smile. Madame Jeon, Jungkook, that's not how you speak to family. They came all this way. Jungkook cutting her off. They came to humiliate my wife, not to see me. I don't owe them a damn thing. His words hit like a slap. The relatives began shifting awkwardly, some mumbling apologies, some quickly excusing themselves. Within minutes, the once bustling room began to clear. Jungkook didn't spare them a second glance as he picked Yin up in bridal style and led her out of the living room and up the grand staircase, away from the stifling atmosphere. Jungkook closed the door behind them and locked it. He took off his shirt and tossed it onto the chair beside the bed. Yin stood quietly, fingers clasped nervously, her eyes downcast. Jungkook stepping closer. Yin. She looked up at him, startled by how gently he spoke her name. Jungkook softly. Why didn't you call me? Yin barely above a whisper. I didn't want to trouble you. You were busy. And she called me. So I thought, it's better not to disobey her in front of everyone. Jungkook sighed deeply, pulling her into his arms. His hand cradled the back of her head as he rested his chin on her hair. Jungkook, you're never a trouble to me, Yin. Ever. You should've told me. I don't care if I'm in the middle of a war, I'll drop everything if it means protecting you. Yin. She said I should know my place. Jungkook's jaw clenched again. Jungkook, and your place is by my side, not beneath anyone, not even her. Yin teary-eyed. I didn't want to embarrass you. Jungkook brushing away her tears with his thumb. You didn't. They embarrassed themselves thinking they could mess with what's mine. He gently cupped her face, pressing a soft kiss to her forehead. Jungkook, you're my wife, Yin. Whether this marriage started by force or not, I chose to stay, and I will keep choosing you every single day. She blinked at him, the words sinking deep into her heart. Slowly, she raised her arms and wrapped them around his waist, burying her face in his chest. Yin muffled, thank you for standing up for me. Jungkook, you don't have to thank me, sweetheart. It's my job to protect what's mine. He sat down on the edge of the bed and pulled her onto his lap, arms around her as she melted into him. Jungkook whispering with a smirk, but if you ever kneel again in front of them, I'll make you kneel for me for an hour, in private, and not for innocent reasons. Yin gasping, cheeks flushing. Jungkook chuckling. What? I'm just saying, I like you on your knees, but not like that. Not in front of others. She giggled despite herself, hiding her face in his shoulder.